Hi, I'm Doug Bell from Northern Lights Estate Winery, British Columbia's largest fruit winery, and today we're going to learn a little bit about tasting wines. First off, you need to evaluate the condition of the room around you. Aromas such as perfumes and flowers can throw off your nose a little bit and make it very difficult to find the subtle fruits that are in the wine. And of course, the sounds around you can make it distracting as well. But lastly, the temperature of the wine must be just right. For a dark, deep, rich red, you might have it at room temperature or just a little bit below room temperature. And for a nice crisp white, you might want to chill it to about 13 degrees. Next, you need to evaluate it by sight. First, I like to look at it straight on to really look at the color of the wine and describe it as a type of fruit or a shade that is something that's important to me. Next, I'm going to look at it from side to side, and you're looking at the color and how it reflects up and down in the glass. If you notice that the color thins out on the sides, the wine may be too young, but if it is consistent for the entire glass, that wine is also ready to go. You're going to swirl the glass and check out the legs and how they come down, whether it be in thick beads or much more thin, to evaluate the body of the wine as well as the alcohol and sugar content. Alcohol and sugar content are thicker and will come down much more slowly. And lastly, you're going to look at it up into the light, hopefully against a white background, which is going to allow you to see right through the wine if there's any cloudiness, milkiness, or hazy particles that may be reflected in that. Next, you're going to evaluate it by smell. First off, swirl the glass. That's going to create evaporation, which will allow some of the alcohol to burn off and some of the fruits to follow. When you're smelling, smell from the bottom to the top of the glass. There's going to be different levels of aromas that come from the bottom, which will be more fruit forward, to the top, which will be more alcohol related. One thing you're looking for, of course, is flaws, such as vinegar smells or burnt matches. But other things you might be looking for would be fruits, leaves, or oak, like toastiness, vanilla, caramel, which are going to reflect different natures of the specific wine or the oak that was used in barrel aging. Next up, one of our personal favorites, of course, is tasting of the wine. Now, when tasting the wine, make sure you have a fresh palate. Have some water, make sure that all of the flavors have exited your mouth, and maybe have a sip of the wine before you actually start tasting, to allow yourself to get all of the flavors from that unique fruit. Now, you might start by tasting for sweetness, sugars in the wine, which are going to coat your mouth, coat your tongue, and it's going to allow you to have a really pleasant first experience if it is a sweeter wine, but it can detract from food pairings later on. Next, you might be tasting for acidity. Acidity will be a tingling sensation on the side of your tongue and will create length for the wine so that you can taste it for a longer period of time. But unfortunately, it can also take away from fruit flavors, however is great for food pairings. Next up, you might be tasting for tannin. Tannin is like tea, and it'll coat your mouth and create a bit of bitterness, which is actually quite good for food pairings and is well appreciated in a deep dark red. Other things like oak can come out, in particular in red wines, where it might have been barrel aged. Each type of oak presents a different type of flavor, such as caramel, butterscotch, vanilla, or many others. All of these things come together to create a really nice balance in the wine. And the best wines are the ones that figure out how to make each of these individual unique tastes come together in a way that presents really clearly pleasant on the palate and is great for food pairing at the same time. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for an opportunity to learn more about wines, fruit wines, wine culture, and more. And let's have a lot of fun together.